In a previous adventure, we discovered a little bit of how good 2mm grade 5 titanium makes as a protection. And we got about this much penetration through. Not a grievous injury, but still an injury nonetheless. And I complained that it was difficult to find steel in an equal thickness. Well, I have searched around and I found the closest I can get. This is 13 gauge mild steel. Heat-treated steel is going to behave differently, just like I assume grade 2 steel or grade 2 titanium will probably also behave differently. Mild steel is, I think, the fairest baseline heat-treated will perform better than this. So now this is not exactly the same 2mm. This one was 85 thou. Write that down. And our 2mm was 79 thou, which is what so 85 thou versus 79 thou. That is about the difference of 2 sheets of paper. That's about as close as I was able to get without going really specialty. So let's take this out and compare it to the titanium and see how it does, and hopefully actually get a more realistic answer than I got last time. Let's go. All right, I have the nearest equivalent mild steel that I could find to the 2mm titanium, which is 13 gauge mild steel downrange, Carbon Express Heritage with Bulldog 440 limbs. Not quite Bulldog 440 power because the power stroke's shorter, but it should launch this 615 or so grain projectile into the steel at a little over 300 feet per second. So let's see what it does. All right, let's shoot the bodkin point. Worried it was going to go flying off on me. The tape is holding, so this is a drill blank ground down. There's a little bit of a chip taken out of it, but I tried to grind it out. This was also my Secret Santa bolt. All right, bodkin point going at mild steel. Oops, I missed. Sunk in about that deep. Okay, so I missed there. I forgot this is heavier, and I ended up, I just might aim the wrong direction for it. Let's try this again. Oh, all right. I think we got some good results. That is surprisingly similar to what we got before. Very similar depth there. A similar way that tore the material across. This material is bent more, I believe. I believe that this broadhead penetrated almost exactly the same amount. All right. Let's head back to the shop and have a look. My kitchen scale is missing at the moment, so I can't actually say, how much different these are, but just holding them like this, yeah. I mean, there's mass to both of these, but there is certainly less with the titanium. The overall performance seems to be very, very similar. If I put this in here till it slots in nicely, we have, about a finger width's depth, and then over here, about a finger width's depth. So actually very, very similar performance. So this would weigh less, have significantly greater rust resistance, and perform about the same. You could also make this thicker and still have a weight savings. So grade 5 titanium versus mild steel, actually pretty close. So if I had the option, if I needed the option, which I don't, I would think it very neat to have a suit of titanium armor. If you know any armorers who are up for that, tell them I will never be able to afford their custom because I can't afford the steel at this point. But it's fun to experiment, fun to have a look at this. You could go and make the titanium breastplate a little bit thicker. I'll have to shoot this eventually. I think the steel here did in fact bend more. So if you think of it absorbing the force of the arrow coming in, bending, not a small amount. That is not flat anymore. That's another factor to consider. If it doesn't bend, all of that smacks you right away. And I hear some people actually like to have a mild steel suit of armor because it actually softens the blow that little bit. You know, this might be obnoxious having it a little more indented there, but if it indented that much more slowly, it's less of a shock to the system. Or at least that's what some people who reenact and have taken hits in armor say. I think that's right. If I'm wrong about that, someone please correct me. But yeah, that is part 2 of titanium armor. Anyway, when the pumpkins come tumbling down the slopes of Mount Alamode, clad in armor, yeah, if they're in titanium, they're going to be that much lighter and agile. So be afraid. Be very afraid. Hope that was entertaining to someone. Thank you for watching.